All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Skye Osborne, your host here at the YouTube channel. Um, and
Okay.
this is my client Farah.
Hi.
We're going to be talking to you guys today about our fitness journeys, where we started, where we came from, and then we're going to just ask some questions to each other and kind of bounce back and forth about things we've experienced and so forth. But for now, come along with us and see what we got to say. Okay. First, we're going to talk about our fitness journeys and just where we came from. So I'll have Farrah go first. I'll have her just, tell her story and then I'll ask questions in between it. But go ahead and tell the people where you came from, where you started, why you got into bodybuilding, and, that kind of thing.
Um, so the reason why I even started competing was because no matter what I did in my fitness journey, I was feeling like I hated myself. I wasn't gaining weight, but I wasn't losing weight. I didn't have abs. I didn't have, muscles. It was just the same thing over and over, going to the gym. And then one day, I was hanging out with Ryan, and I remember seeing you at the gym all the time. I kept seeing her. She had this like massive forehead vein.
I was deep. I was deep into prep.
She was
Like
in prep. I didn't
I,
know.
I was deep. So that vein that you guys see, you already know that vein
Yeah,
pops out hard
yeah.
in prep.
So I had no idea because I'd never seen female bodybuilders in person, or at least bikini bodybuilders in person. I had an idea of what they were. So I kept seeing her around the gym, and you always had your tripod and your camera. And I'm like, who is this girl? She's so insane. And one day when I was with Ryan, I was like, oh my God, that's the girl that I was talking about. And he's like, oh, that's my friend Skye. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'll introduce you. And I was nervous. You were
Mhm.
literally doing your abs. Do you remember?
I look pissed off too. I
She
definitely have
did.
I have an RBF in the gym and it's not intentional whatsoever, but I
Yeah.
definitely like I don't like to be talked to when I'm working out, so
Yeah.
I get why it
Yeah.
would be intimidating too.
Yeah. And you were doing abs. So I was like, okay, I don't want to bother her. And then Ryan just started talking to you. And you were like, hi, I'm Skye. And I'm like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And I was just so impressed by you, and I just kept watching your journey online, and you took me on as a client. And at first, it was I think just nutrition,
Yeah,
and then after that, it
because you
became
wanted to get
lifestyle.
comfortable, I think, with
Yeah.
just like how to get into it
Mhm.
and stuff like that
Yeah.
slowly.
So after that, I started seeing results with my body instead of just maintaining the certain level that I was at. I started seeing the muscle growth, and then the weight dropped. And you were competing in one of your shows at that point. I think you were a few weeks out. Seeing a woman look so feminine and so beautiful, but yet so muscular and lean, I want to do that. And so you're honestly the reason why I started competing was because I was like, I want to look like you.
I'll go
And
get to my. But that's where too I told Farah like during this in the beginning when we started together that I loved bodybuilding because of how feminine it still can be. And I feel like people think of bodybuilding as those bodybuilding like women, like the women's physique girls,
yeah,
which that's beautiful too, but it's not all super muscular and like close to peaking a men's physique in a
yeah,
sense, right? Like you can still be beautiful in bodybuild and look very strong and
yeah.
feminine. And that's why I fell in love with it too, is while I can look sexy and feel confident and
Mm-hmm.
still have muscle. And I feel like a lot of us back in the day when we were
Mm-hmm.
younger thought being muscular was like
Manly.
gross. Yeah, like
Being like
manly,
manly, yeah.
not cute
And that's what
type
I
thing.
would think of was, the women's physique and the bodybuilding. That's all I would think of. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's just not my style. And so when I thought bodybuilding, I'm like, feminine and tiny, but yet super muscular. I'm like, yeah, right.
Hmm.
And I saw you and I was like, oh my God. And that's when
Yeah.
I started getting into everything. And I was like, all right, I want to do this. So
Okay.
it
And then
was,
so tell them, how long have you been doing this for?
um, I have been, I think, like fitness or
Just
bodybuilding.
bodybuilding specifically.
Well, we started competing last year. You started preparing me, I think, in November of 2023.
Dang, has it only been that long? I feel like it's been so much longer.
I know.
Okay.
Well, specifically bulking for the show. It
Yeah.
might have been before then too, September
Yeah.
maybe, after I came back from Colombia.
Yeah.
And after that, I think I think it was March, and you started me in my deficit.
Yep.
And that's when I started competing. So, or starting getting ready to compete, and then I competed in July.
Yes.
So that was
Yeah.
my first show.
Yeah, and now she's currently in like a phase of, we'll talk about that later, like a building phase, but she starts prep soon, which she'll talk about too.
I'm super excited.
But is there anything else you would say with your fitness journey going through it in the beginning you were worried about or had second guesses about in the sense of bodybuilding, or why you didn't want to do it, if that makes sense, or things that
Yes.
could hold you back?
Yes. Honestly, I've never stuck to a meal plan.
Okay.
So for me, even though I was working with you and I was technically on a meal plan, I still had a lot of like leniency. You let me have whatever I
Yeah.
wanted technically. Um, so sticking to a meal plan and eating the same thing every single day, considering I only eat chicken, I don't eat any other meat or seafood.
No meat, no other
Nothing.
seafood.
Yeah.
So she was one of that 1% that you really got to figure out what would be good for her to eat and stick to
Yeah.
consistently, because this is year round for her.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilders eat the same thing year round,
Yeah.
but I have more freedom in the sense of different meats that
Yeah.
I eat and enjoy. She just has chicken.
Yeah.
So ground chicken or chicken.
Yeah, and honestly, that was terrifying to me because I'm like, I don't want to eat the same thing every single day forever. And so that was the hardest thing to adjust to, was knowing that I had to stick to a meal plan. I remember asking you the first week of prep, I'm like, so when do I get another cheat meal? And you're like, not for 6 months.
Yeah. I feel like people think like when you're, but again, if you don't compete, you
Yeah,
don't
you
know,
don't know.
right? So like I tell people ahead of time, hey, for 20 weeks, you're not getting crap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. You'll get a refeed eventually, but realistically, you're not getting a cheat meal. There's no
Yeah.
sugar, there's
Yeah,
no
and the
junk
refeed is
food,
not,
nothing.
yeah,
And the
it's
refeed is like a healthy sushi, or what
a
did you have? A
burger.
burger, her
Yeah.
turkey burgers.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
you're not getting your hot
Yeah.
Cheetos and donuts and stuff that you think you'll get when
Yeah.
you're getting a
You don't get a
refeed.
cheat meal, period. So
Yeah.
that was really a hard adjustment. And specifically also knowing that, she was in it for so long, I'm like, will I ever be able to actually compete? Like, I had imposter syndrome for the longest.
Yeah.
And that was something that was really hard for me to face. Um, but I think that's mainly it, just that. And then even when I was in my prep, I was still questioning myself, even though I was at this point already deep into prep. I hadn't cheated on my
Yeah.
my meals or anything. So it was just hard for me to be like, okay, I am a bodybuilder. I am going to compete, because I had no idea what the hell I was going into. I had never been to a show. My friend Ryan and our friend Skye competed multiple times at that point, but it still was something that I had never done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not as badass as her yet. So can I actually do this? But that's about it, honestly.
Yeah, and I feel like too, a lot of people when they first start bodybuilding feel like they need to look like the people that have been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And that's something that's not realistic at all.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of people understand that it takes years and years of dedication and consistency to actually build muscle mass to where you want it develop the way you want it to. And that was me too. Like when I started, I'm like, well, I'm never going to look like an Olympian. Well, duh, you're not going to look like them right now. Like that's just not what you're going to look like. And I feel like a lot of people feel like that's where they need to be, and if they're not there, they're not going to compete because they feel they aren't good enough, and that's not how it should be, right? Like I told Farah when she started, her first show is going to be her foundation of what her physique is going to look like, and then from there we'll build on that and actually start to build that muscle maturity that she needs, and it takes time, and that's why you should just start that. And I hope her story with how she started gets you guys moving and motivated and inspired to do that, because you just need to start. There's no perfect time. You're always going to be stressed. You're always going to be busy. Like life is
tired.
life. Yeah, life. We're all tired in different ways. Everybody has different jobs. We all have different responsibilities in life.
Whatever.
Yeah, like you just have to start. And
Yeah.
if you keep making excuses for yourself, you're never going to get there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I understand, and I'm proud of her because she works a whole different schedule than I do, and yet she was still able to figure it out, get her meals in, get her fasted cardio in, and get that stuff going.
Right. It's a hard adjustment, but it's not something that you're not
Isn't
capable
doable.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, you're capable of doing it.
So
Yeah.
it's a matter of wanting it bad enough.
Yeah.
So.
But that's Farah's beginning of her journey. And now we're going to kind of go into my journey of how I started. How I started my fitness journey was a long time ago, it feels, but it really wasn't. It's been about 4 years now since I've competed and started bodybuilding. I played sports in college. I graduated during COVID. So during COVID, everything just stopped. I think everyone was panicking in life, didn't understand what was going on. I moved back in with my parents, and then I'm like, well, I don't have sports anymore. That's always something I've identified with was, okay, I'm an athlete. I am here for a team sport. I am a leader. This is what I do. And once COVID started, I got that all taken away from me. In the last 22 years of my life has been sports. That's all I've known. So I'm like, well, what do I do now? I felt very lost in life and not knowing I was scared of the unknown, I think, and a lot of people get like that. So once I started just working out more, I started doing a lot of at-home workouts during COVID, running a lot. I'm like, I want to take it to the next level. And there was a guy in New Mexico when I lived out there actually that introduced me to bodybuilding. I was happy that he brought me into that world so I knew what that looked like a little bit, and if I would like it or not. So I started training as a bodybuilder and I loved it. I'm like, this is for me. Like, I need to do this. It made me feel like I was competing in sports again. And for those of you that are
Yeah.
athletes, I feel like can understand that part of it. You played sports, right,
Yeah.
too? Yeah, so you get it. Like,
Mhm.
being an athlete again just feels good. Like, okay, I'm wanting to be better. I get to compete against somebody, and that somebody's me. And that drive again and that goal. Like, you need, in my opinion, you always need goals when you're in fitness because it doesn't matter what goals they are, but it needs to be something to keep you driven, right? Like, we can't just work out every day just to work out. We have to have a, not even an end goal, but a short term goal or a
Mhm.
long term goal just to keep us going. So once I started that side of bodybuilding and fell in love with it, I found Justin, which I've been with him now for almost 4 years.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
He's just as psychotic as you, by
Yeah,
the way.
Justin is a very psychotic coach, just like me. Shout out to him. But he really taught me what it meant to be hard on somebody and to show them that's how you love them in the way
Yep.
that he does. And I've had coaches in the past that have treated me very bluntly in the sense of, you're not doing this right, you need to do this better, or whatever it may look like. So I've always had that hard love, and I needed that as a coach. Because if I
Mhm.
didn't have that, and I had somebody who would just kiss my butt all the time because I'm paying them, I wouldn't get to where I
Right.
am. So he taught me that I need to be hard on my clients just as much as he is on me to be successful. Um, so once I started working with him, he took me through kind of what we did as well, like a, not a bulk for me, it was a cut because I was too hefty to start. Quote unquote. Okay, I was too hefty, which realistically, yes, I needed to get used to what a cut would look like with him anyways and get in that sense of it. So I went through my little mini cut for like 6 months, didn't follow everything I was supposed to a T, kind of just did what I had to do. And then once I got the hang of it, I got into a prep finally. I did my first show in 2021 and it was hard. And that's why I give my clients some grace, but I also tell them they can be better because it's not
Yep.
easy. Like, prep is not easy. And I think it's nice to have a coach who's been through prep because they can relate to you so much more than somebody who just says suck it up and get it done, even if they've never done it.
Mhm.
So I understand with my clients, it's not an easy thing to work your way into, but it's well worth it in the end.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was hard for me in the beginning. I did not listen to everything I was supposed to. Cardio wise and workout wise, that was good. Nutrition, yeah, no. I wasn't on it like I was supposed to my first show, and it shows on stage. It shows. But that's why you do the sport. It's because you grow in it. And
Mhm.
that's why I love it, because you can never be your best self. There's always a better version of you that you
Yeah.
have to do. So you can't be satisfied. Um, so I did so far, fast forward, blah, blah, I went through all my shows. I've done 7 shows, but my last two are my first 2 national shows ever. And we waited until I was ready to get into my shows to
Mhm.
actually compete at nationals. And that's something with my girls. I tell them, like, you have to be ready to be at a national level show. I will not throw you on stage because if you guys have been to a national show and you've seen, these girls don't come around to play.
Yeah.
They do
No.
not play.
Mm-mm.
So that's something where you have to know we're ready and we can compete. I will not throw somebody on stage who is
Yeah.
not ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's why I waited so long. I did how many shows? I think I did five, like I said before.
Mhm.
So I was 3 years, I think, of shows
Yeah.
competing before I even did nationals. And the perfect example as why I waited so long was because that show I did, my first national show, I got top 2 in my class out of 16 or 17 girls,
Yeah, there were
one
so
away
many
from my pro
girls.
card. There were so many, but even my second show, when I got my pro card, was 25
Yeah. Oh
girls
my God.
in that category. So, like, I wanted to compete and I wanted to win. And if I wasn't going to do well, I wasn't competing in nationals. So that's when I got my pro card. Was 7 shows later at my second national show ever. Um, I got second place out of 25 girls. Top 2 got their pro card.
Mhm.
And it was just all that hard work leading up to where I am today. Like, my fitness journey started so long ago that I forget where I am sometimes, and I don't appreciate where I am because I feel like I can
Mhm.
always be better. And that's, I think, the mentality of just having to be the best version of myself where I'm never satisfied. Like,
Yeah.
I literally, when I got called to second for my pro card, the first thing, I wasn't even happy for myself. The first thing was, why didn't I get first? And that's a problem. Okay. Yes, I'm happy and I'm so
And you
thankful
got
and
your pro
I
card.
was so proud of myself, but that's sad that my first
Mhm.
thing was why did I not get first?
Mhm.
Like I don't deserve this. And
Mhm.
that's me just always being hard on myself and
I mean,
past
we questioned it
relationships I
too,
feel
though.
like too. Well, yeah, but either way, the
Yeah,
point
me and her mom were questioning it when
yeah,
because we were watching
and you know what?
side by side.
Shh, whatever. I got second. It is what it is. I'm happy with it. But I also, like I was telling you, my relationships in the
Yeah.
past kind of put a lot of self doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
So I've always self doubted myself, I think. And
Yep.
that's where I think it's always going to play a factor in my life.
Mhm.
And I'm working on that. But I just felt
Same
like
here.
I'm never good enough. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Scott, you just got your pro card. Like, be proud.
Yeah.
So I had to take a minute
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I am very proud of myself.
Yeah.
I don't, Justin, it was hilarious when we were done with, uh, not, first, yeah, when I was in first call outs for like prejudging, we go out and he's like looks stressed and I'm like, why are you stressed? He's like, well, doesn't only first place get their pro card? I said, bro, no, top two get their pro card. He's like, what? He's like, oh, okay, we're good now, we're good. And I'm like, what are you like, how did you not know that? So it was top two that got their pro card. Then he thought it was only first, so he just looked stressed. I'm like, I'm happy, like smiling, coming out of prejudging, and he's looking at me like, why are you so happy?
Right.
And I'm like, dude, it's top two. And then he's like, oh my god, dude, are you kidding
I'm
me? And he
dead.
got so happy. So I'm like, yeah, dude, like we're good. Like I
I got it. Don't worry.
prejudging how it works too, like in bodybuilding, and I was telling Farah before she went on stages, you pretty much know what place you get after prejudging.
Mhm.
They have everybody lined up. They know exactly what you're getting so that on finals it's quick. Well, quick. It still takes forever,
Yeah.
but it's quick so that placing's done and you're pretty much just posing for the people who came to watch you and
Yep.
support you. So that's why with prejudging, and I was dead center with the girl splitting center. So I knew I was getting top
Mhm.
two. I just needed to make sure reality, we were getting it after I
Yeah.
got it. Um, but ever since that, like my pro card win, it's just been grinding. I've made a full time job out of this, and I'll talk about that a little bit more once we get into questions and stuff. But that's kind of my journey of how I got to where I am
Yeah.
today was not giving up on myself
Mhm.
and just trusting the process. So for those of you who think one show you can do and be ready to like go to nationals and do great, unless you're that 1% that's genetically gifted, like Nick Walker when he started, Sebum who started
Oh,
where he was, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like those
And
people,
that girl Gianna too.
yes, she like there's so many people
Yeah.
like there's that 1% that have those great genetics to start. Still have
Mhm.
to work hard to get to where you need to
Yeah.
be, but they have a good baseline. A lot of people don't start there. So
Mhm.
you have to really build and work your way up to that. But that's kind of like,
It could be discouraging too.
yeah,
Because you step on stage and yeah, you feel your best and you look your best for the first time ever, but then you look back and you're like, damn, like I could definitely look better. But it takes time. I know I'm probably not going to qualify for nationals this year, but that's the whole point, right? To come back looking better. So it is what it is. I'm going to come in, hope for the best, but I can
and
only
just
keep
be your
pushing.
best
Yeah.
package next time. Yeah.
And I'm only there to compete against myself, honestly. Like, yeah, I'm stepping on stage with a bunch of girls and I'm grateful. But at the end of the day, I want to look better than I did last year, and I want the judges to see that I did listen to what they had to say.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a really good point there is if you keep comparing yourself to people and thinking that's the way to go about it, you're
yeah,
never going to be successful in this sport. You
yeah,
have to truly just take a step back and be like, okay, how can I be better?
yep,
Stop looking at other people. Stop looking at who's going to be competing in your show. I didn't even look when I went to nationals.
yeah,
I had no clue who I'm competing against. I did not know the number until I registered because then they give you a sheet with who's on it, whatever. But
mm-hmm,
I don't care. I'm just there to be my best self and have fun. And because at that point, you've done everything you could do. There's nothing
yep,
else you can do to change where you're at. You worked as hard as you could, if you did, and you showed up how you needed to show up. And
yeah.
that's why you just chill and have fun during the shows and not stress about it. So
And you know what?
that's definitely a good point.
I do also want to say, when I started, there were a lot of people who were saying that I was too weak-minded, and I honestly thought that I was weak-minded too. And I remember, some people were saying that directly to you,
Yeah.
some of our friends that weren't saying it to me. And I remember she came up to me and she was like, I want you to know that so and so said that they think you're too weak-minded, that you're not gonna compete, that you're not gonna make it to show day, and I want you to show them that you are capable and that you are gonna make it. And from day one, she was like, you are gonna compete, you are capable, you are going to make it. And that's like the importance of having a great coach, because honestly, I didn't believe in myself, and I know other people didn't believe in me, and like it did motivate me after that. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, she's got my back. And I'm definitely gonna tell everybody that just said that, basically,
Screw
fuck
off.
you. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
like
Like,
screw off.
yeah.
And that happened to me too when I first started. I was getting made fun of so much for filming,
Mm-hmm.
for posting, because I didn't look the best. And who does she think she is? And people would tell Justin too all the time, she's not going to make it. Like,
Right.
she's just all talk. She's not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that fueled me
Mm-hmm.
so much more to be like, haha, guess where I am now?
Of course.
Because I believed in
Yeah.
myself. And that's just a big screw you
Mm-hmm.
to the ones that don't believe in you. And
Yeah.
that's something too where with this fitness journey, you're gonna have people that don't support you,
Yep.
don't appreciate you.
Yep.
You lose friends. That's just how it is.
They don't
And
believe
that,
in you. They're
yeah,
jealous of you.
and that's okay. Like that's gonna bring you to the right people
Yep.
that should be in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why with the business I have now, with the girls I have, I really focus on building a strong community with my girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have some men too, but mostly women, because I want women to support each other. And it's really hard nowadays to find that
Yeah.
support system within women specifically. So that's something that I really do pride myself on, and with what we have as a community and with Team Osborne is all these girls are so supportive with each other and loving and caring, and that's very hard to find
It's
nowadays.
really hard to find.
Very hard to find.
Yeah.
So just know, like when you're going through your fitness journey, you're
Yeah.
gonna lose people. People aren't gonna like you.
Right.
That's
But you're gonna find people that are walking the same life as you. Like,
Yep.
I found so many people that competed in my show that I'm friends with now that I still talk to every day. People that she has competed with or has introduced me to that are literally going in the same direction as me. So why would I want to be around people who doubted me or said that I was weak-minded when they don't even compete or have competed and haven't done it again? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why would I want to do that if there's people who are literally pushing me every day to be better? So you might no longer have the friends that you had, but why would you want those people around anyways?
Yeah, and I think that comes with too. They don't have to do exactly what you're doing in life, but you want to be around people
Yeah.
that are wanting to be better
Yeah,
every day.
or just happy for you.
Yes, and supportive of you, because there's
Yeah.
those fake people that aren't really happy for you, that pretend they're happy for
Mhm.
you, and
They
definitely
sabotage you in
yes,
some type
like
of way.
little things like that.
Emotionally, physically, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
there's gonna be those people.
Yeah.
And like you said, they don't have to be bodybuilders if you're a bodybuilder, but somebody who understands or just is trying to support you is important. I have a lot of people that don't compete that support
Yeah,
me. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But people who have competed that don't support me. So, you're gonna find your people even if you feel like you're not. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed. So that's our stories. I'm gonna ask some questions to Farah about just things in life with fitness, and we'll get her intake on that next. So, what specific goals are you working toward right now in your fitness journey?
So since we are both competing in September, the judges basically had told me that they loved my package, especially as an amateur. But they wanted me to come in with, I think, bigger delts and then
Tighter.
tighter glutes and hamstring ties. So we decided that what I needed to do was work on growing my glutes and growing my delts. So that's basically what we're doing. We're in a bulk. We're putting on mass. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but honestly, like, I have to be uncomfortable to look better for my next show. So right
And it's
now,
fun to eat.
it is.
You guys will get used to it. I'm telling you, it's fun to eat.
It
People
is.
hate this process, but I'm a big bag. I
I'm a
like
big
to
bag
eat.
too. I'm not
I
gonna
like
lie.
I like to eat. So if
I'm junky right now, though.
if I'm gonna eat heavy, I'm gonna lift heavy.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true.
So,
I am lifting super heavy right now, and I'm really grateful for it because before I just felt weak, and now I know what it is to compete. So my current goals is to put on as much muscle mass as I can, so that the next show they can clearly see that I took what they said serious and put on the mass in my shoulders and my glutes. So I'm just growing right now. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say what I'm doing right now too is just making sure I show up the best I can for my pro debut. We have 13 girls right now, as of right now, competing September 13th together. So I'm doing the pro show because I'm not an amateur anymore. I can't go with them, but I can still be there for them and they could be there for me type of thing. So that's my goal right now, is just to put on as much mass as I can and honestly enjoy my off season and live life a little bit, because I've dedicated a lot of my time to bodybuilding, which is amazing, but I'm learning that I need to enjoy my life as well, and finding that balance has been hard for me. So that was kind of my goal with fitness this off season, was grow a lot, train heavy, train hard, eat good healthy foods, but also have fun a little bit.
And
So
you did get to travel a lot.
yeah, and I've been traveling a crap ton, and I'm ready to chill out. And the judges for me with my feedback was pretty much literally stay the same. But my glute and hamstring tie-in needs to be softer and not as lean, which is I think a great thing because I'd rather be too lean and then have to not lean out as much. So that was a good sign. So I'm just growing still everywhere for me, fitness
Yeah.
wise. How has fitness changed your life physically and mentally?
Oh, I
That's a
think,
good one.
yeah. I was, you know what? This is where I agreed with certain people when they said that I was weak-minded because I
I
was.
I could say yes. I
Yeah.
definitely would say she was, but the way it was said was not right. But
Yeah.
yes, in
Yeah.
general, having to build that.
Yeah. I had a lot of things happen to me throughout my life and things that I haven't shared with a lot of people. I have
Mhm.
shared with you. But because of these things, I didn't have any confidence in myself. You know, I didn't have confidence with men or with myself or just in general. I couldn't, get up and think I was beautiful still. Um, and, even though I was in my fitness journey before a lot of this happened or even after all this happened, I still did not feel confident in myself. And I remember, like I said, I saw you and I was like, own myself. And I wanted the same confidence that she had with posting and being herself. And um, it's something that I really looked up to because it's something that I just have never done or felt comfortable with. And when I started competing, it took a long time for me to realize that nobody feels bad for you. Not one person feels bad for you. It took a lot of lonely nights and knowing that one, I wasn't going to get comfort food, and two, the only person that was really going to be there for me was myself and you. So I had to just rely on myself, and that made my confidence grow because it made me realize that I don't care what anybody else has to say. At the end of the day, I'm working hard for myself and I deserve everything that I have because I push so damn hard to be here. I wake up when I'm exhausted. I go to the gym even though I'm starving and I'm eating the same food, even though it's chicken every day. I'm still eating the same food and I'm healthy, and it's all because of I decided to do it.
Yeah.
So because of all of that, because I stepped on stage, I was able to realize, I don't need anybody. I am beautiful without anybody else having to.
Validating
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah, and it's all because of bodybuilding, honestly. If I
Yeah.
didn't have it, I think I would still be that weak-minded individual because that's just what it was.
Yeah. And I have that kind of same story where and I've talked to you guys about this, where I've been through some abusive stuff, whether it was physically, mentally, whatever, back in the day. I was always trying to be with people that I could fix. And I don't
Me
know
too.
why I was always like that.
Yeah.
Psychologically, I don't know. Maybe because I felt insecure in my
Yeah.
way that I'm like, oh, someone else is broken. Let me fix
Let me
them
fix
type of
them. Yeah.
thing. Um, so until I started bodybuilding is when I was fully like confident in myself. I had no confidence going into bodybuilding. I had zero love for me. It was starving myself,
Yep.
trying to do, like I think a lot of women go through that
Yeah.
and struggle through that like little
Skinny
phase
is
of
right.
life. Yes, skinny
Skinny is
is
right.
right, and that's something a lot of women struggle with.
Yeah.
So that was something I struggled with too, and bodybuilding really taught me not even just physically how I looked, but mentally. This helps me so much.
Makes you push.
Yeah, it makes you push
Yeah.
to a whole different mental side of
Past that
things
breaking point, you know what I
that
mean?
you guys won't understand until you do it. And once you do it, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, like I can do anything I put
Yeah.
my mind to. And that's where that physical and mental journey helped me be able to do this full time.
Yeah.
And knowing and believing that I can get clients, I can be a trainer,
Yeah.
I'm worth everything I say I am. Like bodybuilding taught me that. And if I didn't
Yeah.
have that, I wouldn't literally be doing a full time job as a personal
Yeah.
trainer ever
I think
at all.
bodybuilding like makes or breaks you because like I said, nobody feels bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either gonna go one of two ways. Somebody's gonna tell you you're weak minded, and it's gonna happen like me and you, where they told us we were weak minded and we weren't capable. It was like, screw that, we're gonna show you that we are capable and that we are going to make it. Or it's literally going to break you because everybody around you told you you weren't capable, you were weak minded, and you're just right then and there, you are going to show them that you are weak minded and you're going to give up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of two things is going to
Yeah.
happen. How
Yeah.
bad do you want it? How bad do you believe in yourself? And I was at that breaking point, and I'm sure you were
Yep.
too, where I was like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
And that was a couple times for Farrah throughout it.
Yeah.
And I think for me too, it was a couple times in the beginning
Yeah.
of self-doubt was at an all-time high my first show. All-time high. So just know that everybody goes through
Through it.
self-doubt. I still go through imposter
Yeah.
syndrome and self-doubt because that's just the way it is. Like
Yeah.
you're always going to look at yourself in a critically negative way, but it
Mhm.
gets better, but you're always going to think you're not good enough. And
Always.
that's a problem that I think everyone needs to
Yeah.
work on, which I'm working on on my own, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually loving where I am at
Mm-hmm.
in my bulk and where my body is, and I feel good at where I am. So it takes time, but
Yeah.
just know we all
Mm-hmm.
go through it.
Yeah.
So definitely mentally and physically, it helps a lot with bodybuilding more than just bodybuilding. It
Yeah.
helps in all of your
Your
life
whole
as well.
life.
I feel like you're everything in your life.
Mm-hmm. You don't need that validation from anybody.
Yeah. What your purpose is for sharing your journey with people. Not just obviously here, but why do you want to talk about these things and actually, like, we want to start doing this more often to where we talk to you guys
Mm-hmm.
about this stuff and different things and ways we view stuff because, of our own personal
Yep.
reasons. So, why do you want to share your fitness journey?
I think because I've been through every step, wanting to be super skinny or wanting, the big butt. And I've been through it all. And I've been through every single stage of self doubt and getting that confidence back. And I know what it is. But not only that, as a first time bodybuilder, I felt so alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know now that I'm grateful that we do have this group of women that we are sharing it with. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are still doubting their lifestyle, even
Like
lifestyle
they're
gym.
like just
Yeah,
working out in
yeah,
general,
just
like,
working out in
yeah,
general. You know what I mean? They have no idea.
regular, yeah,
Yeah, and they see how lonely it is, and they want to give up. And even like that, it is lonely. Not just bodybuilding is lonely. Just going to the gym, wanting to be better is lonely because nobody wants to see you succeed all the
yeah,
time. You know what I mean? So I think that's my reason of sharing is because I want people to realize that yes, it is lonely, but you're not alone.
yeah.
We all, even though we all feel alone, you're technically not because we're all going through the same thing. So,
Yeah, because bodybuilding is a lonely sport, but
yeah.
it's not at the same time. You
Yeah.
have your community, but there's a lot you have to do on
Yeah.
your own to be able to be successful.
Right.
So that's something I totally
Mm-hmm.
understand. And that's where with my goal for the even this YouTube channel and just to finally talk more because I don't really talk much because I'm exhausted
Yeah.
95% of the time too. Like I have clients, I have a puppy. Oh, I got
Oh
a
my god.
puppy. And let me tell you all potty training is not fun. But I'm busy all the time. I do my own workouts. Like
Yeah.
I bodybuild still. Like I have a job. We all have
Mm-hmm.
things. But I want to show you guys that bodybuilding and fitness is enjoyable even when you're going through a lot in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's a sense of community here. And I want
Yeah.
you guys to feel comfortable coming here and watching our videos and seeing us talk and seeing me be myself and
Yeah. And
I
then.
can be goofy.
Yep.
I can be a loud mother effer, okay? I'm a very loud person, but I feel like I haven't shown that as much on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube because I've been so busy with
Yep.
life. So this is why we wanted to bring this to you guys and start talking more and, seeing even like clients like Farah succeeding and being successful. I cannot say that word too. Being successful. Because I want you guys to have hope and know that there's people out there that do truly love and
Yep.
care about you and want the best for you
Yep.
in your bodybuilding journey or your fitness journey or your lifestyle, like whatever it may be. There's women out there that do love and care about other women and want
Mm-hmm.
the best for them. And
Yeah.
that's very, like I said earlier, hard to find. So that's why we're coming to you or wanting to talk to you guys more about opinions and thoughts and just wanted to share where we came from today so that you guys can see we came from different backgrounds, but we have the same goal of
Yeah.
wanting to be better.
I think
And
it's kind of
that's the
nice that
beautiful part about it.
I'm starting and you're already in your pro. So it's kind of like you get to see a little bit of what I'm experiencing as a newbie and what she's experiencing as a, first time pro. And, you have your debut coming up and you get to talk
Hmm.
about your past and stuff like that too. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, being able to see
Yeah.
different sides of it because I was there once too, and
Mm-hmm.
now I'm at a different phase in life with pro bodybuilding, which is a whole different ball game, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm down at the totem pole again. We're at the bottom, so
Yeah.
it's the same
Even though you're
exact
at the
thing.
top above the rest of us.
We're still at the bottom
Yeah.
again, so it's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to come on here today and talk to you guys, and we're gonna do more of these. Make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, if you need any codes for anything, I'll have Farah go through what she has, and then I'll tell you guys what I have. Support if wanted. Go
Yeah.
ahead and tell them who you work for.
Raw
Who you work
nutrition,
who you work for? Who you work for?
I love me some sebum, okay? So I do work with Raw Nutrition and the code is Farah G and then Revive Supplements as well.
Okay, and I'll put that here. And then for me, code Skye for any Evogen supplements or products you guys use. And then OMG Bikinis, I'm an athlete with,
Yes.
sponsored athlete this year. Suit reveal will be, eventually. No clue what color I'm doing. I'm probably going to do the same color. I'm trying to do a different color. I'm going to figure that out, okay?
Yeah.
But code Skye for that too. Um, and just again, like and subscribe down below. But it was nice talking to you guys, and we'll see you guys later. So, bye.